Hello credit colleagues, I did it again and my first video was put on private, so I just thought there was a lot of noise in the background. We'd have a little bit less noise hopefully this time. So I wanted to let you know that we have a new program. It's about instructional aides and working for potentially either in a home-based setting or with perhaps San Diego Unified as a behavioral technician. So it is an assistant who comes into the classroom and assists with a child that has that is living with a disability. And so knowing how to, this is a vocational class. It is for people who have a high school education, and that's all that's necessary for them to get this job. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of turnover with that. And so we want to give our students an extra boost in terms of actually knowing about children with disabilities and what that is like, and some techniques to use with them so that they're more prepared and perhaps could stay in that vocation for a bit longer. So there is a huge need in the community. So we have two courses. We're calling them right now Instructional Aide 1 and Instructional Aide 2. This is the first class, and this first class is really going to deal with just knowing about individuals with disabilities. So what are the characteristics? What are the milestones? And then what are the needs that are seen in these specialized learning environments? And specialized learning environments, because we cover home, we cover classroom, and we cover in like a school and different school settings. So knowing the laws and regulations for what the individual rights in all these different learning environments, and then also what are the responsibilities of a person who has a position that is a behavioral technician in San Diego Unified, and what that looks like, and what are the other people, field experts that would work with them as well. So again, our course curriculum covers overview of disabilities. Again, this is all an overview. The individual who gets this job doesn't even have to have anything but a high school diploma. So we are trying to give them at least an overview, then to talk about some teaching strategies that cover the needs of individuals with disabilities and what that would look like. The laws and regulations, again, about mandated reporting, but about HIPAA and the Disability Acts, talking about what an individual education plan is, the people who are at the IEPs, the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. So a lot of the laws that are super important, having a basic understanding of funding and where and what that is, where it comes from, and then job responsibilities for applied behavioral analysis program, and I will make sure to spell that one out for us. I apologize for it being ABA in there. School setting and then a community setting. And again, these are a general people, other professionals that a behavioral technician will need to work with. So understanding what those are and how their role interacts with those. My hope as well with this is for them to understand, a progress of somewhere else that they could go with that. So that is about our first outline. Our second outline that makes a program for them to be able to, and I want to talk about this, for them to be able to get this job is to implore the techniques of applied behavioral analysis. So the second portion, the first portion is kind of an overview of disabilities, what is needed in a classroom. The second thing is that more practical piece on what do you do, how do you implement applied behavioral analysis and reinforcement strategies, creating those educational and treatment goals, sharing those educational treatment goals with, and this course isn't, I misspoke, it doesn't help them to create it, but it helps them understand how it is written, because their position won't be creating these goals, but understanding what it is and how to implement it. There is a whole data collection process to track progress on how those goals are going, and then what type of intervention to use, and again, communication skills, not only with the children with disabilities, but also with the other personnel. So one of the things on this outline I wanted to point out is, so it's an overview of applied behavioral analysis. This right here says defining ABA punishment terminology. Again, ABA is applied behavioral analysis. We did go to a specialist, quite a few, some specialists in the field to figure out what should be on our outline and what is really used in that in the classroom by the person who is hired as that instructional aide or behavioral technician. And as you might start to cringe as you see the word punishment on there, as we did. We went round and round about to put this on, but in ABA they actually have a term that is called punishment. It's not what we think of as punishment, because of course we want to discipline and teach and not punish, is what we typically do in child development. But this is, their punishment is really just focusing on extinction procedures and ways to correct things. So it's really, it's that correction piece, but they call it punishment. There's not another word around it. And so we tried to figure out a way to put that up, put that in the outline where we're defining the ABA punishment terminology and exactly what that word means, because when they go into that career setting, they're going to be given that word with a specific meaning. We want to make sure that that's really clear. So I wanted to point that out to you, that that's there. So then we have teaching strategies, prompt hierarchy, prompt dependence, inadvertent prompts. So we want to see like how we're teaching antecedent strategies, and then really focusing on the functions of behavior. That's going to be a big piece of the outline. Again, the goals, more how they're written, not exactly them writing it. Data collection to show progress, and then how the areas of intervention, what that looks like. Finally, supervision and training. I thought that it was really important for our students particularly to understand what the supervisor is supposed to do, like what's intended for their role and what is intended for the trainee's role, and what that looks like, so that they know how to interact, and also when what to ask for, what it's okay to say, hey, I need help with this as a supervisor. There's some pieces that you can help me with. So there's that piece right here, number 4, and then finally communication. So spoken for a very long time, too long. That's a little bit of an overview. Hopefully put me on 2 times. This is a draft form. What I would love for you is to kind of give me a heads up back in terms of things you'd like to change, suggestions you have. I definitely will send you a completed outline as well. Thanks so much for listening. Okay, bye.